we're live with the unboxing of Heroes of the Shire by Senior Games. Something I've been looking forward to for quite a while, since I saw this game at the UK Games Expo 2 years ago now. And no, last year, and I was so impressed. It looked like Zelda in the sense of the artwork, the theming, and the idea. So we've gone for both Earth and Water and Fire and Ice. We've also gone for a true solo mode, and because of the Kickstarter, we got the exclusive Shield Maiden. So I'm going to start with the big boxes as I go through the different types of games and what's involved in each one. And we'll start with Earth and Water. Now, as I say, I saw this at UK Games Expo. Very excited. We went through. I didn't actually play the scenario. I watched a game of the Versus, and I also played it on Tabletop Simulator. They did a little tournament, and really nice game. There's obviously room for competitive play in terms of the arena mode, which is what they call it. But effectively, what you've got is you set up. This is scenario based in the scenario mode. So you've got your player mat and your abilities, and then you've got the map in with hex tiles, the best way to call it, as you explore through. And then there's a boss battler. So that's the way to think about it. We get something like 20 characters, I think, with all the content. So, rulebook. Now the question is, right, reference, I always appreciate that. Glossary of terms, okay, that's good. Again, there it is. Oh, brilliant. And an index or contents page. As long as they've got contents pages, that's all I care about. These are the tokens for what looks like familiars or the little mobs, they call them. They're like the enemies you fight typically as you play through the game. The token stock is good. Nice vibrant colours on there as well. Look at the art. The art is just phenomenal. I love the art in this game. And just look at the hex tiles. Doubles. So these are showing what kind of monsters I think you get, or something along those lines. So this is like, whoops. So this is your home station. I assume. Beautiful art. So this is again Earth and Water. So you can see here Earth scenario mode, or hexes, sorry, and Water scenario hexes. Crab. I think things on here give you ideas about stuff as well. They give you clues about what might encounter as you go through your journey. And then the other water tiles. Ship there. Right, awesome. So this is the main, and a few more. Ooh. When punching circle tokens, it's recommended to bag them up using our key. Awesome. So they've actually color-coded things as well, which is really, really handy in terms of storage. But these are, I think these are your bosses. And here are your player characters. I'll show you the art when we get to the character cards, because you can see it, and then you've got your Kickstarter exclusive. Then you get your buffs and boons and status tokens. Now, I'm already thinking of replacing these with the dice. I've got some dice which are like boon dice. Let's see if I can just quickly grab. All right, I haven't got access to them straight away. Sorry. So here you can see you've got your pluses and negatives to all your statuses. and all the different statuses here. The cards represent what the statuses stand for. There's regen, so again, this is status, and more statuses, more damage, elemental damage. These are your shield tokens, which even these are just beautiful, beautifully artwork, and I'm really glad that the cardboard has come out so leveling. The traveler's backpack, threat token probably, a couple of other little tokens there, familiars. Okay, so we get bags. I presume they're like save bags, or they might be to do with something specific. Plenty of baggies to put all your tokens in. These are your hit point dice, which are D10s. So you get a whole bag of D10s for hit points. And then you get a whole bunch of D6 for your cooldown, which I'll show you in a second. There's a whole cooldown mechanic in the game. So these are your spell masteries. So these are what you use to make your characters unique and level them up. So if you play Arena, which is like 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, all against all, whatever it might be, then you basically get 5 points to spend on these trees. So you can go directly down one tree, or you can split yourself up along many of the others. And these are for each of the characters. And now I can show you some of the art. So that is the Witch Doctor, the Warrior, the Druid, I want to say. Or was the Druid? Shaman. The Scholar? Yep. Mechanic, or the Engineer. Engineer, that's it. He brings out all these different gadgets. It's really cool. Whoa, that's cool. Druid. Dragon Knight or something. Yep, Dragon Knight. Blood Mage. The Bard, I assume. And the Assassin. So this is just for this pack, remember? So we get, was that 10? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you get 10 characters with the first pack. You also get a little save sheet. Pad of save sheet books. This is the, what is this? Elemental table. So it shows you what's good against other things. So different elements have bonuses and negatives against other ones. You get your equipment card or board where you can put your items used for the scenario mode. Then, to help you, really appreciate this. This is always really, really useful if you've got characters which, you know, certainly to start out with, you're not really sure. It gives you a quick reference about all the different abilities of each one. Each of the characters are very asymmetrical. They do all different kinds of stuff. From how to do all the different activities. Does it also show you commonly used conditions that you might have to get to? And basically just, it's a quick reference. It gives you lots of information about the different characters. Then we've got your tutorial. So it gives you to go against Paladin versus the Hunter. 20 minutes for the round. And it tells you how to go through each of the ones, which is really nice. And then you can finish off the game from there. Now it looks like we've got our boss. Yep, we've got our boss monsters. So the acidic Hydra. And just look at the art. In fact, let's do it that way. The Great Leviathan. Which is the final boss. The Water Behemoth. Armored Crab. Tells you as the stats down here. Really high defense, as you would imagine. And some of the elemental types, difficulty, all the rest of it. The Forest Troll. Final boss. The Earthosaurus. and the acidic hydra. So that's both water and earth. And if you have a little look, they'll look very similar to exactly the same as the hero boards, where you've got all of the abilities down here. The type of boss mode you're going for, I think it's like normal, hard, ultra, easy, and something really easy. You put your D10 up here for your health. You've got a boss ability going on, and then these are the buffs, whether temporary or permanent. They might not be positive things, so you put negative status effects in there as well. And uses a cooldown mechanic. So that's what the D6 are for. So you put the dice on here. So anybody uses one of these abilities, you put the cooldown. And at the start of your turn, you reduce all of your cooldown dice by 1. You might have abilities which help to boost that or whatever it might be. But that's how it generally works. And then you've got these, which are the hero boards. Now, they are made from cardboard rather than... which is pretty insane. God, that increases the weight. I'm not really sure why they didn't just go with... This is really nice, thin cardboard stock, but really good solid. Whereas these are full cardboard. It just increases the weight quite considerably. So you've got here the assassin. Assassin's abilities here. This is the assassin's stats. And then you can buff these different stats, as we saw with the last one. These are different abilities. It talks about the complexity, so it's easy. The bio, which I really appreciate this. It means you can plan out who you want to play and everything else. Assassin looks really cool. Very good strength, but high agility, obviously, as you'd imagine. So, for example, for each of your allies, the next attack spell grants plus... and then you would look into his sheet, see what the little kind of like claw marks mean. Poison. During your next hero upkeep, roll 3 times for your poison coating ability. You may equip multiple poison coatings. This up, by the way. You may equip multiple poisons from these rolls. So he gets flesh-eating poison, crippling poison, voodoo poison. So all these different abilities triggering as you play it. The bard. Let's just look at some of the abilities. Is aid. So you see this symbol here. It means your allies. This means multiple enemies. This means a single enemy. So nice, really clear, obvious targeting. Gain hit points. Gain 2 intelligence. Gain 2 strength. So you can probably choose from one of these. And they have little tokens that you use to represent what you use. The blood mage. You pay... As most blood mages you pay hit points to gain condition on the spell. There we go. Disallow. You may cast CD4 spells when you are hexed. Dragon Knight. Gain +2 strength and intelligence for 2 turns after casting a dragon spell. And these are your dragon spells here. This is your sport spells. This is your attacks. So you notice they're quite different. So the druid, for example, has shapeshift, and there's cards for this, where this is druid form. This is these 4 are druid form. Then you've got hyena, hawk, and bear, depending on which one you're in, which is really cool, and you've got cards to represent those. The engineer is really cool. It has these gadgets. I believe that, they have gadget cards with him. So add a gadget card to your ability tab and then upgrade them. So you start off really quite weak, but then you build up to become better and better and better. The scholar, pre-battle. Add to the study book of your ability tab during your first hero upkeep. So a lot of them will have cards associated with them. Shaman. So you're bringing out these totems. And then depending on the combination of totems will give you certain abilities. The warrior depends if he's in defensive stance or brawl stance or support stance. So he can change his stance to get special boons or whatever. And the witch doctor has a healing wave or dark energy. So they're all very much unique in how they play. So if I bring out this first deck of cards, we've got allies. You got the shop, or what's he called? The traveling merchant, which was a stretch goal. You've got quests. These are all quests. Don't want to spoil it. Then you got your quick reference. So lacerate, for example, was the claw mark. Target immediately suffers 2 damage. So you have one of these where quick reference where you can look at. And there's quite a bit. There's 3 sides of one of these to give you all of the little icons. But once you play with your character a little bit, you'll start to understand. This is the upkeep summary. Then you've got your turn order. You put your little token on. So it's the first deck. Then we've got Forgotten Forest. So we've got action cards, travel cards, I think. Oh, these are the mobs. So you got the mobs, which you got tokens for. So these are things you'll fight as you go on your scenario. And the earth ones as well. Then you've got, for example, Zombie Cat from the Witch Doctor. You've got the different stances and come with special abilities. So all of the characters have got these cards. For example, this looks like the Scholar's Spellbook. They're your gadgets for the engineer, and so forth and so forth. Then you've got event cards, boss modifications, boss cards, depending on what they do. Then you've got action cards, which I'm not going to go through, for the scenario as well. So loads of cards for that. Get some cubes to put onto your spell mastery. You get a special dice with conditions. So random conditions. You get some standees for your tokens. And then you get your quest reward cards and items, I believe. So a little bit like Zelda, in the sense that you get armor sets. You get the same through the scenario in this game too. Keep exploring, enough to see on blah, 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 blah. So this is here we go. So for example, we got the Black Frost Tunic, Chainmail, Helms. So there's the Jungle Headdress. You've got all these different items. Jungle Staff, Spear, Sword, Shield. So you got all those different items as you go along your quest, which is really cool. So that's the first box. And to be honest, a ton of content in one of these little boxes. One of these boxes would last you a very long time. Okay. So that was Earth and Water. I'll swap it with Fire and Ice. I'm going to go a bit quicker through this one because I've shown you now one of them. Similar idea, 10 characters again. Seem very similar. And you could have bought these separately if you didn't want all of them. But if you went for it's called a deluxe. I think it's supposed to come in one box, but it obviously didn't. I don't mind that because it means that. So you got the rule book again. You got the token set again. And you got a load of tiles, just as like before. Exact same thing again. But this time we've got fire and ice. baggies and bags. Spell mastery. Let's use this for the art. So these are the next set of 10 characters. So we've got the Warlock. Oh, he's really cool. He changes form to demon form. It's really cool. You get an overlay. Should see that in a second. The Drummer. The Blacksmith? Runesmith, sorry. The Paladin. The Musketeer. The Elementalist. Illusionist. Huntress. So cool. Look at the art. The Cleric. Berserker. And the Alchemist, who has a whole kind of like a matching pairs game mechanic, which is really cool. Elemental board, save sheets, equipment board. Whoops. There it is. And then the demon form. How cool is that? So you overlay. We'll do that in a second, just to show you that different. We've got all of our reference sheets and a tutorial mode. Let's have a little look at the bosses. We've got White Widow, Snow Giant, Frost Minotaur. That's cool. Tectonic Giant, Dragon Mother, and Fire Elemental. And if I bring this out, I really want the Warlock. Alchemist. So with the Alchemist, you've got foraging. So you've got a deck of 12 cards that are face down, trying to find these pairs. And then depending on what you find, depends on what you can make. It's really cool. It's got like a little herb book. Berserker. If you go Berserker mode, you imagine what that would do. Cleric is protection and healing. Huntress enables to grab basically a companion, whether a bear, snake, or bird that you can use alongside you. Illusionist, Shattered Illusion, makes you into illusion form. Musketeer, reload ability. So when there is no cooldown die on it, reload is not a spell. So it's enabling to shoot, basically, and then you have to put a reload ability on. Paladin, obviously really good with allies. Runesmith is looking at safety, power, and elemental. Ooh, and then you've got rune spells, which they can use. War Drummer just boosts your heroes, and then this is really cool. So if you use his demon form ability, this one goes on top of there, changes the stats, changes the ability, and everything else. So it's like a little overlay. So cool. I played him, and it's so much fun. So that's what that's for. Similar things in this pack. Let me just put these ones back. I can show you. Right, so actually there's another deck here. Oh, that's the herb deck. So this is what the Alchemist will use to choose from the thing. There's also a White Widow card in there as well. Same dice again. Let's have a look at some of these boss mobs just quickly. So some pretty cool stuff. Lava Golem, Firehound, Burning Raptor, Ice Dragon, Snow Leopard, Frost Serpent, Abominable Snowman. Got all the rest of it as well. Ooh, mama. So for example, there's the birds, and they have the. So for the Huntress, for example, it's another one I've played. You got a bear. The art's exquisite in this game, and a boar that you can use as a kind of little ally. Then you've got the ally cards and everything else, same as before, and then the item card deck as well. So, oops. That's very cool. Similar kind of setup, obviously, as the last one. Okay, moving on. And again, just the art. Let's move on to our true solo mode. So we get a little dice, which shows what's happening, I presume. The instruction sheet doesn't seem very big. Ally cards. And a deck of other cards. So shows what kind of defensive, aggressive, passive. Okay, so it looks like you get a random, this is an action deck, I'm going to assume, for the enemy. And then you roll the dice depending to show what thing you go for. I'll have to read up the rules, and then you've got some allies that you can rely on. So that's a little deck. I think it was about a tenner. But I'm definitely using this to play true solo mode in the last one. And the last one is Shield Maiden, which is just another one of our characters. We got stretch goals, so 21 characters in total. And that is the unboxing of Heroes of the Shire, Fire and Ice and Earth and Water and True Solo mode. Hope you enjoyed that. I'm really looking forward to bringing this to the table and seeing what it's actually like. And until next time, keep gaming.